this video here, I'm going to cover the first 8 forms again. So I did a short video just of other pieces, kind of slow, moderate pace. And with this video, I'm going to kind of explain them a little bit so it makes sense. It won't be a long video, less than 20 minutes, but as you go along, if you keep watching the videos, as I start doing videos of more of these, the bell cracking and the tap out, showing application of the movements, it'll all make more sense. So kind of like a cumulative effect. So let's look at the first one again, diagonal starting. So say I'm starting at a 60-40 stance, or I can even start in a cat stance, right? I can come here and I can, somewhat formal, bring my hands up and come out. But I want to step out as wide as I can. And a lot of people, when they do these forms, they tend to want to step over here in front of their other leg. Just say to yourself when you're doing them, and my left foot's forward, I'm going to step to my left. So you end up with a wide enough width between the feet. I'm shooting for minimum 1.5 times as wide as my shoulders. If I could do 2 times, that would be great. Okay. So from here, I'm going to step out into the width that I'm shooting for. I have my hands up, and in your mind, if you think that you're grabbing something, right? I made contact with something here, and as I reach and grab at it, and I know that some people will be watching these videos and they've already been doing martial arts for a long time, or they know these things even, or whatever, but some people haven't. So if I'm explaining something that seems rudimentary to you, it is what it is. So if you think say there's a pole and there's a rope, and I have a rope in my hands, and the rope is around the pole, and I'm going to pull it. So when I go to draw this hand back, this hand's going to go out at equal time, right? So I'm here, and as I shift the weight, I'm going to pull this back, and I'm going to extend. Now, we talked about in the other video about this alignment between our ankle or shoulder, the head, lifting up with the crown, up with the forehead, and pushing down into the foot, not just the heel, but the foot itself, but driving down. And that doesn't leave this foot without stability. I really kind of have this type of stability, right? I want to have this to myself. Like say you're standing in a boat in a lake, and one foot is pushing one side or the other. And if I do it like this, I can move the boat, but I maintain some stability. So as I come through, now this part, if you think about it, there's a momentum. I'm creating power. Now, I'm going to use my core, my upper and lower core, and I'm going to twist on the end. Okay? I'm not twisting with my shoulders and leaving my core not working, right? And at the same time, I don't want to raise my arm up so high, or do I want to lock it out? It's locked. I don't want that. I want to be able to still engage my elbow to my core as much as possible. So as I come in and I extend and I twist. Okay? I want to maintain that line. Now, some people tend to do this also, they'll lock the arm, or they will push back like this. Okay? Try not to do those things either. Some people will do like this and they will look down. And very common, lifting up the heel like this. Okay? Remember, I need to drive force down, need the reaction force back. I need that. And I need the stability in my body. So I want to keep the heel on the ground. And look, I'm twisting the waist. I'm not twisting the shoulders. I'm twisting on the waist. Okay? Now in the last video, I also talked, the video where I was talking about stances, I was talking about being able to rotate on the foot as well. So again, in this situation, the back foot is going the opposite direction of me now, right? Instead of at a 45 and then just driving from here, I'm going to rotate on the foot, and extend myself out, right? So here, I rotate on the foot. Now, again, try not to round the back. Be sure you extend out. Great. I even have a tendency to want to do this. Everybody does. It's like to push the hip forward, or not to do that. Extend out like this. But it's okay to rotate on the foot. I practice them both ways. But, like I said in the video on the stances, it's not like using a short stance where I can rotate like this, okay? I can't do it on the ball of the foot. Because if I do, I'm going to send my foot backwards and I'm going to fragment my energy, right? I'm going to take it away from myself. I have to do it from the heel. So if you think like a windshield wiper, right? It's attached to the base and it cuts like this. I've got to do that with my heel. But I want to keep the ball of the foot firm too, right? I don't want to just do like this, right? But if you see when I do it, right, I turn the hip, right? Again, if I turn with the ball, it doesn't mean that my hip won't turn, but I'm gonna lose a certain amount of that additional power that I was trying to create by turning on the foot itself. Sometimes people will do this too. They'll actually kind of turn the femur inside of the hip without turning the hip. It's like it's not engaged, right? So they'll be like this, and the hip will stay here, right? And they'll turn the foot like this, like it's disconnected. If you're going to turn with the foot and you want to practice that way, be sure that this is engaged, right? And in reality, think that it's going up inside of the hip, this, right? If I do it from this side, and some people do the hand like this, or all kind of weird ways. Just think that you're connecting with this part of the palm into the elbow, into the hip. That way I can engage this, right? If you do like this, it's going to be in the shoulder girdle, and you're going to disengage from the hip bone, right? The power from the leg. You'll lose some of that, and you won't be able to engage the force that you were trying to create from the abdominals. Okay. So with the foot fixed, I shift, right? I get here, and then I make the additional turn. If the foot is flat, same thing, nothing's changed other than I'm executing with the turn of the foot. And again, from this side. And the next one is neck surrounding. So we're choosing the marching stance. Again, everything is the same, except I'm going to rotate on the front foot. Okay, if you don't remember from the stance portion, I can turn on this foot and turn this foot out. Or I can leave this foot fixed, and as I transfer the weight, I can just open this side of the hip and turn the leg out. But either way, I'm going to end up in the same position. Okay? So with the neck surrounding, I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to start here as if I'm going to grab something. And this hand is going to come across. And I'm going to try to put my index finger into my sternum like this. And I'm going to have this nice and flat. I don't want it up, and it's not up here. But it's kind of in the middle of my sternum. And the other hand went in here. Now with lower body control, leg blocking, which is in this set, just think I'm doing it at the lower portion of my sternum, almost in my solar plex. So from here, I'm going to do it with the foot turn out and rotate the foot this time and turn the other foot. So I come through and I turn. And remember, when you start to do this, don't let yourself bend down, but keep extending the head up so that you end up in a nice straight line. And look, I'm not going to, some people will do like this. What I want you to do is try to turn the waist as much as possible so that you can look up and behind, but don't try to do it from the head so that you bend the head in all kind of wonky positions. If I do it from this side, I'm here, and I turn me, sorry, and then look, I'm here, and now I'm going to turn the waist. See what I mean? I turn the waist so I can look up into the side. Okay, I'll do it 2 more times. We'll do it from the fixed foot. Weight's here, I've stepped out with the weight, and then as I transfer the weight, as I start to transfer the weight, as it gets to almost in the end, I start to turn the other foot, and I complete the action of the joints. And now, as I'm here, I'm going to turn with the waist and finish the action. I want to maintain that straight line. The foot turned out, the foot fixed. Get to this side, foot's out. And me personally, I really like to dig in deep when I go to do these. It gives me a lot more stability, and I feel it gives me more power. Even when I go to execute the actual throw, right, I've moved inside, I've got a hold of the guy, and if I dig deep when I go to do it and kick out, I feel like I contract everything and then it expands, right? I can generate more power. The next one is elbow locking. Now, in theory, when you're doing this piece, you're up here. Like I see people, there's nothing wrong with doing this. They'll put the hand here. My only problem with putting the hand here is I disengage from my core. If I keep it here, I'm able to work the core totally. You can try it for yourself. You can come here, and as you lift, if you let this hand go, you'll feel that you've lost this connection. But when I do it, if I'm here, I maintain the core contraction so I can generate force from it. And really, if you think about it, if I'm holding his wrist and this is under his arm, this would make more sense, right? Doing this, I mean, maybe I guess if you're breaking it in half or something like that, but it just makes more sense to me. I can see when I do the motion and I elongate myself and I twist on the waist. Now you can also do this piece not just from a bow stance, but you can do it from a marching stance as well. But either way, I still want to get this twist from the core. And what I was going to say, in theory, once you get this contact, in reality, say you lift it up on the guy, more than likely you're going to pull back. And, you can't put everything in a form component, but, lifting up and then pulling, right? And in this way, I would say, if you practice it like from a horse stance, it's an extra component, but I'm here and I twist on the waist, and then look, I'm going to go back the other way. If you watch my shoulder muscles, you see how so from here, you twist across, right? You twist across, right? I'm really drawing the guy. It'll help you to kind of start to try to engage this a little more. But in theory, the form itself, fixed foot, and I lift and I twist. And I twist without bending the back, right? Don't round the spine. You hurt the spine. I'm here, right? I step to it, I do another one. And again, as I go to do it, and then I twist on the spine. See? I twist the spine, but I don't bend back. The other way that I'm talking about, you would do like this, right? You would literally pull across. Okay, so again, the first was guiding with striking, neck surrounding, elbow locking, and then the fourth one is downward pulling. Let's see this all kind of ways. Hands like this, the hands way up here. My teacher, Sifu Wong, is a pretty practical individual. So I kind of stick with what he showed me as it relates to this piece and all of them in actuality. But look, I'm going to be here lower. And if you think about it, think of grabbing a wrist, and this is under the person's elbow, right? You kind of you turn the person this way. This movement is, again, some of these have, even the ones we just did, we looked at, some of them have different, more than one value, and so does this. But this one, for a lot of people, is hard to do to keep their stability when they turn, especially when you do it with we'll say, more speed, more momentum, right? So, but look, I'm going to do the same thing out here, and as I step out, now I'm gonna not look here, but I'm gonna look here, and I'm gonna follow this as I shift the weight. And remember, we're gonna rotate this into a marching stance. So I'll come forward and I turn, and I'm gonna keep my head up. I've got to do that. Look, you'll end up doing like this just naturally, but I'm gonna try to make sure I keep this extended and the heel going down and looking back at my pinky. Okay, try not to bend the head too much, but kind of see it out of your periphery. In the other hand, it's down here by my knee. Okay, so here like this. Okay. So again, hands are here. I'm going to step up big. My left foot's out, so I'm going to step to the left, and then I dig deep. Right, I try to do this on all of them, but it's kind of hard for a beginner. But I sink, and then look, I drive me back out, and I lift up with the crown of the head, and I try to keep my back straight, all of this in a line. Other hand is on my knee, and I'm looking back at the periphery of my pinky. And step up again, and again, I turn me. Now, again, with this one, you can do it by turning the foot, right? The foot's turned out, I'm here, and I dig deep. As I turn the foot, I turn this one, and look, you see how my body, it digs deep, and boom, I'll come back up. And then look, I step through again. And here, if the foot turned flat, and boom. So, I'm doing these today kind of high up. In reality, you can be way down here doing these pieces. It changes the game of it altogether, puts a lot more load in the legs. That's harder to do. You're thinking about enough things. But as you get better, you want to let your body relax, sink, and get into your hips more. Okay, so that's the first four, and we try to keep this under 20 minutes. So the next one is, or the next two are forward marching, kicking, turn around, backward kicking. The hands are on the hips, and the reason they're on the hips is because I'm trying to work my balance. I'm trying to internalize where this is, right? If I use my hands, it's like kicking. I kick, I don't use my hands for balance. And there's forms that I do that, the hands come out and stuff like that. But in theory, if I was going to use kicks, I'm going to kick like this and keep my hands here so I can punch or protect my head. So think of that, of these pieces like that. My hands are here to just to get me to try to internalize where my center is, my central equilibrium, my central axis, right? So I turn out, right? Close here, I shift the weight out, then I turn, and then look, I'm going to bring this leg through. Now, a long time ago, and you can look on my YouTube channel, like 10 years ago, I would do this move like this. The problem with that is yes, I can create a lot of momentum to sweep the guy's leg. And potentially it will work with no problem. But if I bend the knee, right, and my leg is like this instead of like this, I will be able to engage the core muscles, connect the kicking aspect to this, right? like in Pilates, they call it your powerhouse. I think it's a good idea, or a good name to call it. But so, I have more power and force to be able to scoop the guy up. So, so instead of, again, just straight legging it. So he turns and he looks this way, and then as he scoops up, it's bent. And then look, I'm going to look down here at this other foot. And look, I bring it back up, and I turn me, and then I'm going to sink onto this leg as I put the leg out. I rotate myself. Now, same thing again. I'm kind of looking here. I'm going to bring the leg up. I'm going to keep the knee bent so I can engage the core muscles, the lumbar, the abdominals, the obliques, etc. So I scoop, and as I do, I look down at my other heel. Because if I was doing this in reality and I had his, say, his wrist and his shoulder, and I swept his leg, he's going to go here, and I want to look here, right? I want to turn in the direction in which I'm throwing him. So again, turn, look down, pull back up, turn, right? Turn up. As this comes through, I'm going to look down. Now, this next one, four-bar chain, kicking, turn back. You can look at this a couple of ways. Actually, three ways, in my mind. Maybe more. But one way, it's an actual technique. I've got a hold of the guy, and I go to kick his leg out, and he pulls the leg back and escapes, and I turn and I kick his leg out. Okay. You can also look at it as you're practicing two actions. Kicking the outside of the foot to try to topple him or to make him step back, make him do something. You can also do it as a cover step. So say I'm in here with a guy, and I want my leg on that side, and I'm attached to him. I will pull this leg up and say over my knee and over his knees, and then drop it down. So think of it a cover step, or I'm kicking at the guy's lower leg. Again, we'll look at it more in depth, but this is just a short video. So again, I'm going to do the hand thing again, so I internalize the balance. So I turn me, and then I'm going to pull this foot up as I turn. Okay? Now look, I'm upright and erect. You saw I'm upright and erect. When I kick the leg back, see, I go back to this position again, but in theory, I'm in a straight line. Okay? It's just the length of the action. And I kick the leg back over here, this leg turned out, and I turn me. Okay? Again, so I step out, I turn, and then look, I can kind of roll me back a little bit, and I'm going to pull this foot through and look around. And then look, I kick it back. Again, I turn, I kick back. I look behind. Okay? All right, now the last two, hip throw and lower body control leg lock. So with the hip throw, a lot of people, this is how I do it. If you're teaching or learning it, you may do it totally different. Nothing wrong with that. I do it this particular way for a reason. So when I'm here and I go to step out, I step in front of this other foot. Okay? I don't step over here. Okay, because if I step over here and then I turn, I'm going to put myself in a different line. And that's done in the belt. So back. I want to step into the same line so that when I turn, I end up facing the opposite direction from what I came. I think it's better, especially if you've got quite a few people who are teaching at one time, it cleans it up. The other thing that I do that I don't see a lot of people doing when they're performing this, or even when they're doing hip throw in general, is that they will step and then they get